What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Back to the Past. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Mega Man 2. That's right, I've gone back, and I made it a whole lot further in this game, and I think I have more to say about this game than I even did the first Mega Man. So we made that video a few months ago. You guys really liked it. I greatly appreciate it, and it's like, hey, I got the collection. I got the first 6 games right there. Let's jump into the second game, and little did I know quite a few things. Number one, this is the far better game, okay? Out of 1 and 2, this is the better game. Now, upon looking this game up, this is often regarded as one of, if not the best, of Mega Man games of all time, okay? It's actually the second highest selling Mega Man game of all time. The soundtrack is a freaking masterpiece, and other people reflect that. I didn't know. I did not know what I was getting myself into when I played. I just thought it was the second Mega Man game. This game came out like a year or so after the first one. It was a quick turnaround, 1988, many years before my birth, so I wasn't around for it, and this is the first time I've ever played it. But I gotta say, and I gotta start off this video by saying, this game freaking rocks. It annoyed me at times, and we'll definitely talk about that in this video, but besides one of the mans, the rest of them kind of cruised through, and I want to talk about that as well because I had a lot of fun with this game, and again, much more fun, I think, than I had in Mega Man 1. Mega Man 1, I was but like the learner, and then now I'm the master, if we're quoting Darth Vader here. So I want to shout this out. We did this with the first game as well, and it's the same thing here. You got the difference between Mega Man and Rocket Man, right? And the US version, the box art is atrocious, just like it was in the first game. This one, I still don't know what in God's name these people or this person, whoever created it, don't know what they were thinking. But let me tell you, the box art for the Japanese version, oh my God, it looks phenomenal. And obviously when you jump in, look, I'm playing, I don't even know necessarily what version. This is the collection, one of the Mega Man collections. I'm sure it didn't look or sound this good back in 1988. But this game, again, it rocks, like, as just a general statement. But visually, I love it. Very diverse. I mean, the first game was diverse too, but every level, whether you're in the air, whether you're in the sea, you know, with Bubble Man, my arch nemesis, actually, he was the easiest of all of them to take out. Wherever you are, the world looks pretty cool. And I think now is also a good time to shout out. And I realized this. I don't remember if I don't think I was talking to anybody when I was listening to it, but I was listening to the soundtrack just, you know, while playing it, and I would get stuck, and I would be in a soundtrack for a looping soundtrack for a very long time. And I just was sitting there thinking, this freaking rocks. There's one specific one, Dr. Wily's Castle, and I think it's the second stage. There's 4 stages, and then you go into like the boss fights. I think it's the second or maybe even the first, and the soundtrack is popping, and it's really, really good. And then I started thinking, because, you know, that was at the end of the game. Then I started thinking throughout the entire thing, yeah, the soundtrack is awesome no matter which level. It just feels upbeat. I don't know. It's really, really good 8-bit music. So I don't know. If you guys are interested in that stuff, this game has it. So you have that. Now, as for the gameplay, now I played this game on normal. I believe in the North American version. I don't think this is the case anywhere else. North American version had 2 different difficulties, right? Normal, and I think difficult was the other one. I went with normal, and granted, probably why I made it further, I don't remember for sure how far I got in the first game, but I want to say I only defeated like 2 or 3 of the boss fights. This one, I want to give you guys a synopsis of what I did. First, I beat Bubble Man, okay? Now, Bubble Man was a freaking cruise. Even just jumping in for the first time, I've only ever played the first game, jumped in, died a few times, beat Bubble Man. I said, this is going to be so easy. I go to, I believe, Heat Man. Let me tell you something about this individual. That level is the hardest level that I've maybe ever experienced in a freaking video game. I was there for 40 minutes, unable to do it. So I said, okay, let's back out and let's choose one of the other ones. So I did that. I backed out, and instead of backing out the right way, good old Alex here, I erased the game. I erased the save. So I started over. So instead, I handled like Crash Man and Metal Man and those kind of things. But to kind of summarize before we get into the more specifics, I cruised, and I mean this, I cruised through all of them except Heat Man. Heat Man, his level, for whatever freaking reason, I think it's because of the invisible blocks that are not actually there. There are other ones. I don't remember which one of these stupid bosses had it, but there's another level where there's kind of disappearing. It very much reminds me of Mario, where they're there, but they're not there. There's part of the floor that if you walk over, you'll just fall down, but you can jump over it, right? Because it's either actually there or not there, and it's just hidden. In Heatman's level, you got the blocks that freaking appear and then disappear. And they're not there if they're not there. If you don't see them, those blocks are not actually there. So that level, no joke, took me forever. I actually got, I mean, I'll continue like my synopsis of how far I got, but it took me, God, maybe it took me like 45 to 50 minutes to beat all of the other mans except for Heatman. And then that one just took me time and time and time again. Now, one thing I'll also say, though, about this game, and maybe it's because I played the first game, I went in with like almost like a new strategy. Like, I knew going into even to the first game that some of these bosses are like weaker to other things, but I didn't really experiment with it. In this one, you know, I was using bubbles at times. I was using blades. The speed one has the boomerangs, and the boomerangs, oh my dear God, very, very powerful, you know, weapon. You could have like the leaves that go around you and kind of act as a barrier. So as I was going through this game, honestly, I was feeling very good about myself, and I was defeating the bosses with relative ease, and even the levels with relative ease. But if I did get stuck, I was able to kind of mix and match and use the different powers, which I definitely think was a very good strength of this game. I felt more comfortable going into this game. I felt better. I don't know if like the levels were just better. I don't know if it was technically easier than like the first game, but this is absolutely the game where they hit their groove. To make a newer comparison, you know, I always bring up like Uncharted or even Gears of War. We've covered that as well. From 1 to 2, there tends to sometimes at least be a really big jump, massive jump between a first game and a second game. I think even maybe Infamous has had it. You know, a lot of games have had a huge jump. Mega Man, I don't know if it was the first game to do it, but Mega Man, I think maybe started it, where that first game, it's fine. It sets a precedent for what the kind of game is going to be, but the Mega Man 2 freaking goes hard, again, with the visuals, with the sound, with the everything, and this is, I think, where that jump between 1 and 2 really started. Now, how far did good old Alex get? Didn't beat the game. I'm sorry to report, and I say this with a heavy heart because I wanted to do this, okay? So I beat all of the mans, and I felt good. I said, oh my dear God. Now, I knew how the end kind of worked from the first game, right? Kind of just like level, and you're going to have to replay boss fights eventually. So, you know, you have to go through 4 different stages, and I think like the second stage, you fight a freaking dragon or something, and okay, I was struggling. I was definitely struggling. I was thinking, how am I going to do this? Now, I actually made it to the 4th level. And I think there's only one more. And I feel like the 5th and final mission, I don't know this for sure because I actually didn't look it up, but I think you actually replay and refight all the bosses, and then you get transported, and then you fight, you know, Wily himself. So I didn't get there. I got to the 4th level, and when I tell you I tried, I genuinely mean it. I felt good. It's hard to actually put into words like how good I felt because the platforming, again, is it the game's strong suit? No. Is it something that works? Sure. And I was doing pretty good throughout the entire game. There were some bosses, there might have been like a 2 or 3 boss stretch where if I died maybe once or twice, but I just like tanked through it. I was eliminating enemies. I wasn't getting hit. I was getting to the bosses and, again, destroying them with relative ease. Some bosses I would get to at half health, and I would take them out, which normally in the beginning of the game, you'd be totally screwed. If you had half health going into the boss, you're done for. At the end of the game, no. I could have half health, use my boomerangs, which are very OP. Multiple times, by the way, I said I think Capcom needs to fix something because there was a few times in this game, and let me actually just shout this out. Remember I mentioned Heatman, Fireman, whatever his name is? Those blocks that would appear, disappear, appear, sometimes they would have velocity that you've never seen before. Sometimes the block wouldn't be there, and then I would jump because, of course, you have to time it to when the block is there, right? So the block is gone. The block would appear, and it would strike me with the force of freaking Thanos, like punching you, and it would, and one time in particular, I jumped, the block appeared, it hit me so hard it killed me. It hit me into a whatever, never-ending, you know, pitfall. And at that moment, and multiple times in this game, I said, maybe we should contact Capcom. Do you think Capcom is still taking requests for a game that's 36 or ever years old? Because I had a couple complaints. There was that. I think the boomerang was honestly a little OP. I think maybe they should tone that down a little bit. I don't know if they're still listening to those requests. But overall, by the way, had an absolute blast. Like, I was smiling. This is a game that you feel good. You feel really good when you accomplish something. And whether it's the first, like you get it on the first or second attempt, which you feel really good, or even like good old Heatman, when I beat that, when I got to him, because I knew, and I think I was talking to a friend of mine at the time, I remember saying, if I can just get to the freaking boss, I'm going to annihilate him in 1 second because he was the last one. So I had freaking boomerangs, I had leaves, I had every power in the book, right? If I can get to this man, I'm going to just destroy him. In fact, I think I used bubbles against him because fire and water, and that's very, very clever, by the way. So I destroyed him in like a second when I actually got to him. But his level was just something else, and he literally was just hiding, just a little coward, hiding behind his incredibly difficult level. But no, I only made it to the fourth, almost the end, but I couldn't do it, and I feel really bad. I kind of want to live stream it potentially on this channel at some point and try to beat it. I don't know if I can actually just like jump in and feel good about myself enough to actually do it, but I felt good for 90% of the time. You take the Heatman parts out of it, just don't remember it or don't think about it. And then the end level, the fourth of the 5, I guess, levels at the end, those two were just something in my brain. Like, it wasn't connecting. Once it got to the point in the last, when I had to quit the game, basically, when it relied on those platforms that you can shoot out, like your special abilities 1, 2, 3, and once you like run out, and then you gotta have to backtrack, and then you have to get the energy to raise it to then use it again. Like, once it got to that, it really started to tick me off, and then I would mess up and things like it just got under my skin. So something like that in particular really annoyed me. I don't think that was the reason why I quit. I think I literally just could not freaking get it. But this game is a blast, and I don't know, like, I really went in not prepared. I went in thinking it was going to be more Mega Man 1. I got to be real. I went in thinking I'm going to play this game. I think I played 1 for longer than this, but I went into 2 thinking I'll play this for like 30, 40, 50 minutes, maybe an hour. I'm going to get crushed, and I'm going to quit. And we can like make a video out of that, right? Talking about the difficulty of the game. No joke, that's what I kind of went in thinking, because I thought, oh, this is just more Mega Man 1. Maybe I'll be slightly better, but it's just more of the same. No, it's not. I think this is a better game in every single aspect. I think this makes me... In fact, I'll say this. As I was playing through the game, because early on, when I was still kind of struggling with it, especially Heatman, I was thinking, like, when am I going to get it? When am I going to understand why people like this thing and why it became a franchise? Because to be honest with you, playing the first game, not getting far. Playing the second game, at least at the beginning, and not getting far. I thought, okay, some franchises just don't click, but like, what makes it so special? And I think just by actually playing all the levels, by actually getting through it, you realize just how tight and how just good of a video game, a true legit video game, this is. Like, it feels satisfying taking out enemies, clearing the area, just getting from one place to the next. There is a lot of platforming, and it is pretty solid. There's good diversity, again, in terms of sometimes you'll be in the clouds, and there's no freaking ground, so you better make sure you're careful, or, whatever it might be. There's obstacles in the way that you'll have to dodge or plan accordingly of when to drop and stuff. That's really cool, and, I mean, it really got me, and so I literally, in the moment, I was thinking, okay, I don't get it. I don't know why it's such a big deal. But then, no joke, by the end of the game, and as I was starting to like advance, I was thinking, okay, I mean, the visuals have always been cool to me. I'm I guess, an old school kind of, like, I can appreciate this kind of stuff. The music, right, the difficulty I can appreciate. But as I started to get through it, I was like, oh, I kind of get this. And then again, looking it up online and to see this is largely regarded as the best Mega Man game, number 1. Number 2, it's the second highest selling. It's like, okay, so I just stepped in by accident to maybe the best Mega Man game that there was. Right now, I don't want it to necessarily be the case. Hopefully, if I were to, say, rank these, my ranking would be different, because I guess what I'm getting at, I want to keep going. I want to play Mega Man 3, I want to play 4, and I want to get to the X franchise and all that stuff. If this was the best that there is, and it was on the second game, so does that mean it only gets worse from here? Because I was fine with Mega Man 1. I wouldn't say I loved it. And so going into 3 now, which one day, and hopefully someday soon, we'll play it on this channel. Hopefully I like 3. I want to really love the franchise. I think I love this game. I don't think I love the franchise. So we definitely have to kind of get there over time, all right? So you let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know last time when I did Mega Man 1, there was a lot of people that grew up with the franchise. I think that's really cool. I mean, I'm not making like old versus young. I mean, I'm 27. Sometimes I'm old at heart. Sometimes I'm young at heart. I can really appreciate these older games, though. And I think this game, again, this had it going. If this was the first time that we saw a true jump between a first game and a second. I mean, maybe Castlevania did it, right? But if this was like the first time that 1 to 2 massively jumped and really set the precedent for all of the other games to do it later, man, that's pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.